folks who do have money are not going to want to move forward and actually start a business. They're going to say, wait a minute, I don't know what's coming. I've got a tax bill that's going to get huge, because another thing that will happen on January 1 of 2011 is that the Republican tax cuts evaporate. And I'm seeing nodding of heads there, because people, the tax cuts go away, the child exemption decreases, the inheritance tax returns from the dead, and that's just the things that are on autopilot. Then on top of that, we have Medicare taxes and Social Security taxes, which are now Medicare tax is going to apply to dividends and unearned income for the first time. So we've got things hitting people even harder in terms of taxes. So people are looking and saying, the uncertainty is just too great. I'll keep my money, and rather than starting a business, rather than enlarging my business. So that's where I see us, and the idea that shrink government down. For me, the federal government has sort of three main areas, which we get from the preamble: establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, and provide for the common defense. And pretty much beyond that, I'd like to see it get out of the way. So with that, open up for questions.
Who's going to start?
I'll start. You talk about repeal. To me, repeal is a little unrealistic. You can't repeal something that's a law. One thing you can do is defund it. What's your thought about
Well, I think you are correct that the repeal would have to wait to 2012, because it's for a Republican president, and hopefully we still have a Republican Congress. That's pretty much the bottom line in terms of repealing. But one thing that we can do is, if we have even one house of Congress, and it looks like the House is the one that's most likely going to become Republican, is not funding. So we start off in saying, okay, in 2010, we won't fund the additional 15,000 IRS agents that Obamacare requires. We won't fund the, we won't put any funding towards the 1099s that Obamacare requires for every transaction above $600, which is something that will simply, I'm seeing more vigorous nods of head, because if you think 1099s, well, most of us don't have any clue what a 1099 is.
I know what that is. Explain that a little more.
Okay, inside of Obamacare, in addition to the nationalizing the student loan industry, which we all know has great ties to the health insurance. That's sarcasm for those watching at home. What they also did was they changed the rules as far as what is transactions that are for which a 1099 is required, and pretty much the rule becomes on January 1, if it's more than $600, then you have to file a 1099. And so pretty much, now, if you're not an employee of some firm, the examples I've seen are, you go in to get a car repaired for $700, 1099. You go you buy gold bullion for what an ounce, $1,200, 1099. Bag of silver, $1,000, 1099. So pretty much 1099s for any non-employee related transaction over $600.
Who's going to look at them?
Well, that's part of this 15,000 IRS agents.
Yeah, with computers, then they know everything you've done. Does it all match up? Because your Social Security number will be on it.
So what's the point of the 1099?
Well, example, I get a 1099 for farm on it. I own a farm.
Right.
farmland rent. So, you know, that's the kind of thing
Well,
where
I'm
it's
saying,
appropriate.
if you buy gold with dollars you've already been taxed, and you buy gold, and then you get a 1099 for it, are you taxed again?
Well,
What's the point of it?
what's I suspect that initially it's just tracking, which frankly is none of their business. Yeah.
Big brother.
So yes, the 1099s are something that they stuck into Obamacare, and you know it's 2300 pages of Lord knows what. So defunding it is very important.
One of the things that I heard you talk about in your introduction, Peter, is things like sunsetting some of these entitlement programs, basically. So you would grandfather in, or according to Paul Ryan's plan, you would grandfather in certain people and then phase these programs out and move people to a different kind of plan.
The program changes.
Right.
So it's not really what it's sunsetting is the current promises. As I said, the current promises made by Medicare, the current promises made by Social Security are not sustainable. So by saying, okay, if you're 55 and older, we'll try to keep those promises to you, but if you're less than 55, then we're going to have something different, which is more sustainable, and the promises will not be as extravagant.
Okay, and those would all still then be federally mandated, or not mandated, but federally run programs, is what you're saying? Well,
we're still going to have, if we with the grandfathering, people who are 55. You know, those folks could easily live to be 105, so that means for 50 years we would still be having Social Security, we'd still be having Medicare, so there'd still be some federal program for those folks. What we do for the younger generations, hopefully we can get that to be less federally intrusive and do more in terms of both personal responsibility and personal initiative. Because frankly, there was a court case shortly after Social Security was put in place where someone took a look and said, wait a minute, I can do better with that money than the federal government can. And they actually sued, said, I'd like to keep the money myself. And the court said, no, you do not have a property right in your Social Security payment. And so that's what we've been living with ever since. So we'd like to set it up so it's something that you do have a property right in, so that then things cannot be changed, and but you're then more responsible for how it's invested, and then reap the benefits if you choose wisely. Or we also have options of just saying, okay, we want to either just buy the market or just buy government bonds for a period, something that's very secure. Someone who's my age, I don't have a long time horizon, so less risk is more important there.
Well, would there still be a federal mandate, for example, telling people that they had to be on some sort of plan?
Right now, there's a federal mandate that you have to buy Medicare.
Right.
And I believe the way it's set up is that if you want your Social Security, you have to buy Medicare.
Yes. Part B.
Yeah, and I would like to see us saying, okay, if Medicare is an option. You know, if you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, don't. Now, my understanding is that there's a court case, Dick Armey and two others, I'm forgetting who, essentially making the case that the government should not be able to require them to buy that. So that may actually, obviously court cases moving at the speed of light, but so that may actually be resolved before we have to actually deal with it.
Who else?
Yes, Bill.
On to Tammy Baldwin. So I assume you live in a district.
Actually, not only do I live in Tammy Baldwin's congressional district, I live in her former assembly district. So Tammy Baldwin has been my nominal representative now for close to 16 years.
So we have a primary. Why do you think you'd be better? You have a better chance to beat Tammy than your